What's going on, YouTube, man? You already know who it is. It's your boy, Sports God TV, and Josh Cribbs, where we talk sports like religion. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Share the content, jump in the comments. Let's get it cracking. And we back with a week 3 recap, week 4 predictions, and what we like to call low-key fantasy picks. What's up, Josh?
Absolutely.
What's the
What's
word?
up, baby? I'm
Uh-huh.
good. I'm feeling high and mighty. I'm feeling like $1,000,000. I won in all my
Yes,
fantasy
sir.
leagues. I
Yes,
won in
sir.
all the fantasy league, man, and my team won. The Browns beat the Steelers. So without further ado,
Huh?
exactly, baby. So that's going to lead me all the way into next week, man. So let's get after it, man.
Yes, sir, man. So a quick recap of week 3, man. Listen, overall, I went 3 for 5, man, which was not pretty good for week number 3, man. And I'm gonna jump straight into it. You mentioned the dogs, man. The dogs did take care of business. We
Yes,
both agreed that
the
Cleveland would
Browns. Yes.
would do their thing, right?
And they did their thing. I was excited about how we controlled the football. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, the two-headed monster, controlled the entire football game. They held the ball, it seemed like, for almost half of a quarter. They had
Mm-hmm.
minimized the possession to only about 3 possessions a quarter. So
Yes, sir.
they would have the ball, and then they would only give up the ball about one average, only 1.5 times that the Pittsburgh Steelers had a quarter. So they dropped in how many series they were able to run. They controlled the ball. Jacoby Brissett did a good job spreading the ball around. You saw Amari Cooper as the leading receiver. I was excited to see Amari Cooper. He did so much better for us than what Dallas is doing for us. So I'm glad he left that situation and
Uh-huh.
came over to the Dogs, baby. He helping us out. Browns victorious, baby.
Browns was definitely victorious on that. All right. Next up, man, you picked the Eagles to beat the Commanders, man. I rolled with the Commanders, and it didn't fare too well for me, man. What happened in that contest?
Man, look here. You picked the Commanders because you're in DC. You have to. Even though I'm born and raised, hey, I thought like the Eagles was going to have a great opportunity to capitalize on their last win. Now the Eagles are 3-0. I told you last week that Jalen Hurts was bragging about his touchdowns. He scored, got in the end zone, and looked up to the crowd like, "Yeah, man, this is me
Like he's
now." This,
supposed to be here.
yes,
Yeah.
like he's supposed to be here, and he's capitalized off of that. They played a division opponent. They won. They won great. In there, I think everything was clicking for them. He was hitting receivers. Devonta Smith. Everybody was saying his name. He's finding new, bringing guys who we didn't think that that was going to be great for them. He's bringing them
Right.
to the forefront. And Tay, man, what happened to your Commanders, man? I thought
Man,
Wentz was going to do something, man.
I thought West had the juice, man, but he did not have the juice. The offensive line didn't have the juice. Once again, the second week in a row where we started off in bad field position, the offensive line could not block the scheme that the defensive coordinator had going on. And
Man,
what basically happened, man, Wentz got rattled, and once he's rattled in there, he gets timid. He holds on the ball too long. I didn't see them making adjustments until like the second half to try to get the ball out of his hand, and I was in awe on why it took so long for them to make those
right.
adjustments.
You know what? And that's coaching. I was just going to ask you about that, and it's funny that you beat me to it. The coaches are, defined about how well they make adjustments. Dog,
Hmm.
they're sacking you. Chip them. Have a running back chip that guy on the way out, or double team him if you have to, but make adjustments to keep the guys off of the quarterback. And usually, sometimes they wait to halftime, and I think the bad coaches do that. I think with technology, they have the iPads right there on the field, Tay.
Yes,
They
sir.
watch the film immediately. They see the play that just happened and can make in-game adjustments right away. So, like you said, I thought it was coaching. When it came to DC, when it came to the Commanders getting Winston went sacked. I think that coaching should have put him in a better situation to throw the ball, more timing routes instead of getting back in the pocket, like you said, and taking them hits.
Yes, sir. Moving on, man. The Vikings and the Lions, man. You chose the Vikings. I chose the Lions. I thought that the Lions,
Man,
man, were ready for the challenge to take on Kirk Cousins and the crew, man. But Cousins did his thing, man. What you think about that game?
man, so who I chose? The Lions, right?
No, you chose the Vikings. I chose
Oh,
the
I chose.
Lions.
Okay. So it's two and
Yeah.
one, 2-1. What you 0-1? Oh, 1-2 now,
Yes, sir.
and I'm 2-1, something like that. But
Uh-huh.
I thought
You
you.
rubbing it in, huh?
I thought the Vikings was going to play a good game. I thought Cook was going to be able to, get his ground game started. And I look
Mm-hmm.
at things now through the lens of fantasy when I'm looking at these players. Tay.
Yes,
So
sir.
Dalvin Cook has not been leading his team like he usually does. It's
Right.
not been the ground game hasn't been working. I don't know if it's the offensive line, the play calling. You would think that having a dynamic receiver and having a capable quarterback would
Mm-hmm.
still open up that run game for them, but it hasn't. They're having a slow start to the season, and they need to
Yep.
pick it up, man, because one thing that the Vikings always have done was hover around the playoff and around the not playoff air league standard of the league. They'll be right in the middle of the league
Right in the middle of the
with
pack, right?
for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah, I did lose you there, but I got you back, man. We had a little difficulties.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't. I should have. A call came through. I should have got my this do not disturb.
Yes,
But
sir. It's all good.
I'm upset. I'm upset at the way the Vikings playing right now because they're upsetting fantasy guys, and they are usually always around this time of year, kind of in the middle of the pack, and they're towards the back end. So I take that loss. I take that like a champ right there.
Yes, sir. And moving on to the last night's showdown between another divisional game between the Cowboys and the Giants, man. They went on the road into East Rutherford, New Jersey, man, and put it to the G, man. You seen Tony Pollard on the ground running well. Zeke finally looked pretty decent. Man, Cooper Rush, man, is 2-0 as the starter for the Dallas Cowboys. Is there any controversy going on around the Dallas, man, about Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush or what?
You know what? It will be if Cooper Rush keeps winning. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, he there's too much money being paid to Dak right now for him to not come back in whenever he's ready and play. The
Right.
problem is if Dak comes back and doesn't win. And that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of going to be the same problem that Cleveland had. Because if Jacoby keeps playing well and then Deshaun, it's time for him to come back, well, do you put him back? Heck yeah. You paid him $230 million. And
Yes,
Dak
sir.
is making that top money, that top tier money too. So they have to return to the starting roles. That's just a business of things. But I thought the Dallas Cowboys was going to come up short. I didn't think Cooper Rush had it in him. He surprised me. I thought for sure a Giants team led by a new head coach in Daboll was going to be able to muster up, a victory, especially with Saquon. Saquon is balling. He
He
is
balling,
back.
man.
He
He's
is
back.
back. And the thing is, and I was in, and the reason I know about Daboll, he was my offensive coordinator for the Browns.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and he almost hired me in collegiate football. He also coached at Alabama. I'm like, man,
Wow.
I'm not doing college, man. But that's another story. But
Yeah.
I thought the Giants, with a backup quarterback, was a good enough football team to win it. I
Mm-hmm.
thought they was, man. CeeDee Lamb dropped a pass, and then he just came out of nowhere and redeemed himself.
Damn.
Trucking the guy, catching a long pass, trucking the DB, and then trying to get in the end zone. Nope, got caught on the one, and then got the one-handed catch on the 1-yard line, fade ball, toe tap. So
Sweet.
sweet. So sweet.
Sweet.
I'm like, dang. So they shocked everybody with Cooper Rush coming through right there. So, I think, who did you have winning that game?
We both went for New York,
We
man.
both went to Giants,
We
yeah.
thought New York can pull it off, man.
I thought we
Unfortunately, they
did.
disappointed us, man. Moving on to the Broncos. The Broncos and the Broncos played the late
KC,
night
didn't
game.
it? No, they played, let me see it.
The
San
Broncos,
Francisco.
they played the San Francisco 49ers in a
Yep.
10-11 matchup, man. I had the 49ers. I thought Jimmy G and the crew and Debo and all them
Why?
boys could come through there
Why?
and stomp down in Denver and on the Colorado scene. But
Man,
that wasn't the case.
why
What
y'all be
happened?
riding with Jimmy G, man? Y'all got to stop doing that. It's a reason that Trey Lance, they brought Trey Lance, they drafted him, and then they didn't sit him for long. It's a reason that he was on a trade block earlier. Look, if you got to ride with Jimmy G, he's not it, man. And they should have. If he was the quarterback that everybody think he is, they would have won. Because right now, the Denver Broncos aren't playing good football. Russell Wilson is not playing good football. They won, but he has got some work to do. He's coming out looking very rusty. He's not the Russ. I told you that there were memes of Russell Wilson coming out of Denver from their own fan base saying they should have paid the punter $235 million. Yeah.
Actually, Eli Manning said that on the show with his brother Peyton and said that they should have paid $235 million.
And I
think that was hilarious.
I think Russell would be critical of himself, but he's not playing top tier football right now. They did win, and I hope we could put this Garoppolo stuff to rest. He's not it. For everybody who think he is, Jimmy G ain't it. He's not it. They had a capable team. They should have won, but they came up. And I had the Broncos winning. You had the just so 49ers. You know. Yeah, you had the 49ers.
Yeah, you showing me out right now, man. You letting the
I'm 3-2 right now. Yeah, I'm 3-2 right now. Who we got next, Tate?
We got the Packers and the Bucks, man. Like I was saying, it was a revenge spot for Aaron Rodgers and company, man, going into Tampa. They had got beat out there in the playoffs when pretty much that was the year that the Bucks won the Super Bowl, but the Packers were the favorite. They were the dominant team throughout the year on the NFC East side for the most part. But yeah, man, they came out there. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty decent.
You chose the Packers. You won that. Yeah, you chose the Packers, and I didn't have the Packers. I felt like and I'm gonna tell you the difference. So I felt like, like Aaron Rodgers is not the same Rodgers without Devontae Adams. He's not.
You mentioned it. Yes, he's definitely not.
He's not, though. He's not. However, he's finding a new go-to receiver in Scouting, I think. Valdez, I think.
Yeah. He just came back. Yep.
Or Lazard. Lazard
just came back. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the top receiver right now for them, but he's no Devontae Adams. And so they counted heavy on Aaron Jones in their running game. However, I just think they didn't have enough to beat the Bucks. So I don't know why I went with the Bucks when the Bucks are hurting more at receiver. Brady was counting on Rashad Perriman, who had a short stint in Cleveland, to be the leading receiver. And he's not it. He can catch, but he's not it. He caught a ball across the middle and fumbled, and that was huge. It was huge because it gave the Green Bay Packers the ball back, and they scored off of that fumble possession. So Tom Brady, the GOAT, he's still the GOAT. Maybe in his heyday, he could lead this young nucleus. He could pull it off, but not now when he's out of his prime. And then you got Leonard Fournette, who's also out of his prime, even though he's still producing. Right now, the Buccaneers are playing average football, so they might end up, somewhere half of the, in the half top of the league, out of the playoff. And I think Brady gonna have to ride real easy off into the sunset. This might be his last one, for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed, man. And the last game we had on the slate of Week 3 for the recap, I had the Falcons. I picked the Falcons to go into Seattle to snatch that Marcus Mariota and company and Cordell Patterson.
Yep.
Yes, we did. Cordell Patterson, man, had 17 carries for 141 yards and a touchdown. Mariota had an efficient game, 13 for 20, 229 yards, touchdown, and one pick. Geno didn't have a bad game. He threw for over 300, 32 for 44, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, but it just wasn't enough to get the job done. What's your analyst of that game right there?
Now, when you talk about the Falcons, we both picked the Falcons to win. Again, I look at a lot of it now since I'm heavy in fantasy. I look at a lot of it as how well their players would do. And you mentioned Cordell Patterson. He had a remarkable game. I have him in fantasy. So I was following that game. I played with Geno when he was a rookie, when he was playing with the Jets. So I didn't choose them because I'm not sold yet, even though he's running the Seattle offense effectively and efficiently, and they beat the Denver Broncos, who I'm not high on now. Geno is playing very well. He's not the franchise quarterback. They're going to be continuing to look for another replacement in Seattle. They may trade. They may I doubt they trade because they feel like they can rock out this year with Geno. But for the long run, Geno isn't it. And I knew the Falcons had enough firepower to win that game, and I was right, man. We both were. We both picked the Falcons to win that. Yep, and they played good. They have a new hot receiver down in Falcons, London, the rookie London, and he's heavily used in fantasy too. I don't have him, but I keep hearing his name called. I just remember passing up on him. I knew a little bit about him, but you got to show me, man. You got to prove it to me before I take some stock into you.
I was excited about my boy Kyle Pitts, man. I have him on my fantasy team. He had a decent game, man, for me as well. 87 yards. He put up a few points, but not a whole lot, but pretty decent for a tight end. I didn't have him in the star lineup though, but I might consider him next week depending on their matchup. But yeah. Now here we go. Here we go with week number 4, man. I'm excited about week number 4, man, and I have to mention, man, since we almost opened up the show speaking about the Commanders, us being from DC, man, and me rocking with the Commanders, and one of the most historic rivals in the game of football in the sports period, man. You got the Commanders versus the Cowboys, aka the Redskins and Cowboys, man. They're in Dallas. With again, Cooper Rush, man, is 2-0 as a starter. The leading receiver, could you believe it or not, is Noah Brown and not CeeDee Lamb. Noah Brown is the leading receiver.
And you know why that is? Cooper Rush being a backup, again, the backups throw to the number 2 receivers. They throw to all the backups. When the first team goes up, and you got Cooper Rush, a guy like Noah Brown is starting, and some other practice squad guys. So he has good reps with Noah Brown. And he has good chemistry with the backup or with the 3rd and 4th receiver, which Noah is. And a guy like CeeDee Lamb and those guys, they have to just build that chemistry as they go. But Noah, he's following the path of a good quarterback right now, good backup quarterback, spreading the ball around, even though Noah kind of took the target share. Again, Cooper Rush has definitely caught our eye because he's still doing something with Dallas when we all felt like those stars will falter. But they didn't last week. They didn't. So who you going with, Tay, man? You got the stars. You got the stars in the Commanders, baby. Who you got?
Well, I cannot command anything with that performance that I've seen, so believe it or not, as much as this hurts my heart, I have to roll with the Dallas Cowboys to win against the Washington Commanders.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I am picking the Dallas Cowboys to get that win.
Say it ain't so. He's turning his back, and you're in D.C. Y'all got to get him. D.C. family, go get the sports guy. You know what? I feel like that's an unbiased opinion. However, I couldn't do that, Tay, if the Pittsburgh Steelers were better than the Cleveland Browns. I just would say, hey, the Browns need to do this to win. I couldn't even get and even people would know that I'm not telling the truth.
Yeah, true,
but I would still have to say the Brownies will win. And knowing that they was gonna have an uphill climb. I would have said everything in my power that would have made a believer out of somebody. Because it was days like that. It was days like when they had Big Ben and all the cylinders was firing off.
Brown and
and they had a mob, and we ain't had nobody. Nobody. And we still had to choose ourselves. But being analysts like we are, I can understand your pick. Cooper Rush has proved himself, and Wentz hasn't. So I can understand that. So I might have to rock with you on that.
What you got?
I got Dallas too. I got Dallas too for that. So I'm gonna put myself down for that. I have Browns versus Atlanta, and we just those dogs, baby. I know Cordell Patterson is going to play well. I'll root for him because I have it in fantasy. However, I still hope they lose by 14 touchdowns, 14 points. I said 14 touchdowns. I hope that too. The Browns have starting to find themselves now. They got to keep it going. I feel like they had 2 strong weeks. I think this can solidify them because eventually they'll have to win a game that they should lose. And what I mean by that is on paper against the New England Patriots, against Chargers that they play upcoming, they'll have to win one of those games. And one of those games that they marked off as a loss because they lost to the Jets in a game they shouldn't. So I think the bad things happened early for the Browns, so they've been cleaning up a lot of those little mistakes. So I got them going down to the ATL and defeating the Atlanta Falcons. Unbiased. That's my unbiased opinion.
Unbiased opinion. And you know what? I hate to say it, but I must agree with you on this because I think that Jacoby Brissett, he's been in the league. He's a veteran. It seems like he has a great handle on the offense. He doesn't take too many risks. He manages the game well.
Absolutely.
He has a two-headed monster in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, obviously. And that defense is playing and firing on cylinders, Myles Garrett and company over there. And on top of that, the Browns are 1-0 on the road. And Atlanta is not, as of right now, haven't won at home, and they haven't been such a good home team.
They ain't proved nothing. Right. Yeah. They haven't proved themselves. So you rocking with them dogs, right?
So I'm rocking with the Yeah, let's get it.
Yes, indeed. Who you got next?
Oh, man. So I got man, this is going to be this man's last rodeo, man, probably, man. It's like the Kobe, the Jordan tour, the GOAT. We talked about Tom Brady, the Chiefs and the Bucks, the rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago, man. You got Pat Mahomes and Kelsey and company coming in to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. And it all depends. This pick depends on if he gets Godwin back and Mike Evans is done for a few weeks. He's on suspension and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I lean heavy towards the Chiefs. I expect the Chiefs to go into Tampa. It's a revenge spot for them. They got that bitter taste in their mouth, the confetti falling on their head. But what's interesting about this game is the weather situation. I've heard that Tampa has moved their practices to Miami because
the
of
hurricane.
So I don't know. It's going to be a neutral site type of game, I'm assuming. So, but I still got the Chiefs. I feel like right now they're the better team, and this is the perfect time for them to catch Tom Brady and company, especially them being injury prone. What you got?
So we riding together on this one again, Tay, and it seems like we're down the line with choosing teams, and the Chiefs took a loss. They took an L that I feel like they probably should have won.
Yes, sir.
They lost, and that's going to sting. So all the top tier teams who lost is going to feel some type of burn, and so they're going to try to correct these mistakes. The Browns did it, by giving up 2 games, blowing the defense, blowing the coverage, giving up a Jets game that they should have won, a 99% chance, and they fixed a lot of those issues, a lot of them, not all of them. But I think the Chiefs will fix those issues. I think the Chiefs were hungry for a win. And, again, man, the Buccaneers, the GOAT, it's not it, man. You know what Tom Brady playing like right now?
Who's that?
He's playing like Michael Jordan when he came back after retirement and playing with the Wizards, Washington Wizards.
Oh, my goodness.
He's just not it. He's not it. I mean, when Jordan came back, was he it? Was he that dude?
He was not it, but he had a couple highlights.
And that's what Tom Brady going to have. Tom Brady going to have a couple highlights, but, hey, he should have stayed gone. It ain't it. I agree with you about the Chiefs winning. And if they can't beat the Chiefs, it's going to be a tough road because you're going to have to beat the Chiefs, a team like the Chiefs, to try to get back to the national Super Bowl. And it's going to be an uphill battle for Tom Brady. I know he's traveled it before, but not like this. Not 55 years old. He didn't. So
yeah, he out there.
Old, yeah, he's up there. All right, so my next team. Go ahead. You got it.
Ironically, the odds makers have the Bucks winning. So we should
The
see
odds
how
makers
maybe they know
wrong.
something. Maybe they
We
know
need to go
something
to
we don't
Vegas.
know.
If they win, we're gonna be watching that game close on the refs and everything. We're
Yeah.
gonna know what it is. We're gonna know what it is.
What you got going on, brother?
All right, so I have the Ravens versus the Bills. I think that's going to be
Ravens.
one of them showdowns because Lamar Jackson, like he is a one-man highlight reel. We all know that. He is the it
Yes, sir.
factor. If there's anything
Yep.
that a team can't do is bottle up Lamar Jackson. He has to be hurt or something has to happen to where, a team will have to shut him down. Now, the Bills, on the other hand, their defensive coordinator needs to say, hey, we're going to shut everybody else down and hopefully make Lamar win the game, which will be trouble if they force Lamar to have to run for first downs all the time, if they force Lamar to have to try to make throws that he's not comfortable. But Lamar right now is playing good. He's throwing those down the field balls. He playing like he playing for that money, that new contract. That's what he's looking like right now. But the Bills are a Super Bowl caliber team. They're playing. I know they just gave up a loss, but the way they looked against the LA Rams, and the returning the former Super Bowl champ, they look more like Super Bowl champs than the Rams did. And if they can, figure out what went wrong last week, I think it's going to be a hard fought battle, Ravens versus the Bills. I think, and this is going against the AFC North. I think the Ravens lose. I think the Bills going to win.
Now that sounds pretty biased right there, Josh.
Hey, I don't like, I'm not a Baltimore fan, but there's a lot of talent on that field. They lack running game other than Lamar. They lack running backs right now still because J.K. Dobbins can't be trusted right now just yet. He's been out there playing a little good, but he can't be trusted. He can't be trusted to be given a workload. So with that being said, tell you, I don't think the game can rest on Lamar Jackson and Andrews. Again, Duvernay is good, but the Bills is good.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the Bills being home, man, Bills Mafia going to be out and about, man. They're going to have that stadium rocking. The electricity going to be rocking. The crowd know it. The team feel it, that they are who we think they are. I mean, to me, they supposed to won that game against Kansas City that was going to the Super Bowl last year. But, unfortunately, it didn't happen. Mahomes went down in a few seconds and put the game to rest. But other than that, man, the Bills – they're a complete team. They did have a meltdown, last week, as you mentioned. But I do got the defense spying Lamar Jackson, forcing him to throw, even though he looks pretty comfortable. 2 games in a row, he's rushed for over 100 yards on the ground. So it's whoever dials up the best, offense versus defense. It's going to be a chess match, but I think the Bills come out on top. So I'm riding with you on this pick, Josh.
Hey, we right away, man. We might end up with a similar record. It's going to come down to about a game or two.
And my last game that I got, man, it's a surprising game, man. Of course, you got the Eagles that's flying high out the NFC East, but you also got the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's 2-1 right now. I mean, surprising. New head coach, second-year quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, and you got Christian Kirk at the receiver. He's showing out. And he said Robinson back there in the backfield. But you got Jalen Hurts on the other side with that defense, man, the pressure they put on Carson Wentz.
That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a good game.
I think A.J. Brown was a huge addition to Philly's offense. And obviously Hurts loves Brown. And Devontae, man, he's scary, man. He catch that ball, man. He can make some plays. It's gonna be a fun matchup. It's gonna be a fun matchup.
Who you got though, Tay? Let me see who you got.
So I'm gonna roll with Philly. I don't believe in Jacksonville that much, but I do think they're a good young core, a hard-nosed, well-coached team. The win that the Commanders had over Jacksonville in Week 1 doesn't look laughable right now because of their approach and how they have played their defense. I like the kid they drafted, number 1. From Alabama. He is a beast on the edge. And, man, they're going to be something to be reckoned with.
They are. You said that very perfectly. You know, and we riding together again on this one, because for the reasons that we pointed, you know what? And I'm being unbiased. If I disagree, I'm gonna tell you. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? But you right. Philly playing good right now. Hurts
Yeah,
is playing good, and I wish I had him on my fantasy, but I don't. I have Kyler. But you know
I
that's the next
do.
that's the next best thing.
I
But
do.
that's what I'm saying though. I agree with everything you said. You know, Brown is playing good right now for him, and I think that's what Hurts was missing. Their line is playing good for him. They're blocking. Jacksonville has shown promise. And the only reason I feel like we're saying that is because they were the worst team in the National Football League last season. They were dead
Absolutely.
last.
Without
Jacksonville
a
was
doubt.
horrible. And now they have a decent head coach. Now that he can get back to some similarity of winning, an essence of winning, trying to win. You know, but Urban Meyer just went down there and stunk it up so bad. Now you know what I'm saying? We're looking at them like, okay, now they're a football team. Now Trevor Lawrence is playing good football. Christian Kirk is getting the ball, which I have him, shameless plug, I have him in fantasy, and he's killing it. He's killing it. But for the reason you just said, they're playing good, but not Eagles good. Eagles is flying high right now, led by Hurts, and I think they win. So we together on that. My last game is the Dolphins versus the Bengals. Now, I told you the Bengals, they struggle always. They struggle in the beginning of the season. But I always said that they were pretenders, and they proved me wrong last season. They hung around. They won all the games they were supposed to win late, and they got themselves in the Super Bowl.
They did.
That's huge. So I'm not going to ever let them, put that taste in my mouth to say that they were pretenders. They weren't. They won when they were supposed to win. However, the Dolphins, like the Eagles, they're riding high. They beat a good football team. They beat a really good football team. I said, Tay, you was wrong and you was crazy like Tyreek Hill when you said that Tua was up there top 4, top 5 quarterback. And I said you sound like Tyreek Hill talking about Tua better than Mahomes, because we know that ain't the truth. However, with the addition of Tyreek Hill, they got Tua looking like he is a Pat Mahomes. Throwing those deep balls, completing a lot of passes, keeping the chains moving, and they're riding high right now. So I think with every game, Tay, I think we're all locked in. We're locked in every game together.
Yes,
from
we are.
Dallas, the Browns, the Chiefs, Philly, and the Dolphins. So we riding together. So we will have the same record, win or lose. Unbiasedly, those are my picks and those are yours.
Yes, sir.
I love it. And we have the reason to back it up. So there's no reason why I'm picking with you. I don't want to disagree just to disagree.
Absolutely.
These teams that we picked are playing good football.
Playing good football, man. And just to end off the show, man, we got a segment called Low Key Fantasy Picks.
Yes,
and what is Low Key Fantasy Picks, man? Low Key Fantasy Picks is not your, the highest of the high, the norm, people, on the boards looking after, man. So I'm just going to run through running back, quarterback, tight end, receiver, and then pick a defense, all right? We're going to try to do this every week. This week is me. Maybe next week is you, however it go. For my quarterback, now this guy used to play for the Browns. Man, number 6, God. Man, I got Baker Mayfield.
You crazy.
I think he go into who the Panthers play. They play the Cardinals. The Cardinals defense is not elite. They are right. They have some good ball players. Don't get me wrong. But Baker Mayfield have not hit the scene yet in Carolina. He has played mediocrely, behind the helm for the Panthers far. I think he is destined for a breakout game. And why not it be against Kyler Murray and the company?
Man, I definitely disagree with that. I'm sorry. I couldn't pick Baker no game last season, and I was rooting for him. Yeah. And it's just his style of play, what they ask him to do is more system. It's as if you're going to have Jacoby Brissett as your leading quarterback. He's not going to be a high fantasy leader. He'll put you somewhere in the middle of the pack. and I think
Okay.
that is Baker. However, I'm not saying you're not right. Because if Baker turns around and have a hell of a game and puts up a lot of fantasy points, I'm gonna let everybody. I'm gonna eat my words. But right now, you're full of it. Right now, talking about some Baker Mayfield. You full of it, man. I wish I had a sound effect for that. You gonna make me change some more sound effects right here, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who you got next?
Oh man, for running back now, man, I got. He's a part of that two-headed monster, man. And again, it's going into the ATL, man. I got Kareem Hunt, man.
I like it.
You know, obviously Nick Chubb is the guy, but Kareem Hunt, I think he'd be effective in the passing game. I think he gets some good runs and move the chains, and I think he rack up a lot of fantasy points. Come Sunday.
He does. He racks up a lot of fantasy points, and more so because of his catching ability. But lately, he's been getting the ball and scoring like, week to week. He's been having some touchdowns here and there and some great opportunities. So I agree with you on that one. He's the guy I would love to have in my bench to start at any moment.
Man, sweet deal, sweet deal. So for the tight end position, low key picks, I got Zach Ertz, man. Another game.
Okay.
It seemed like I'm targeting that Cardinals and Panthers game, man. But I think Zach Ertz. I believe Kyler Murray has to get him involved. I know he threw a lot of targets to Ertz, and he dropped some passes.
Yeah, he did. He didn't look. I was kind of upset for him. I was like, you know how a receiver drop a ball and they clap their hand when they drop it and they look at their hands. I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like doing that through the TV. Like, come on, man. Dang. Ertz. Because I want him to return. Remember, Ertz and Kelsey used to be top two.
Yeah.
It was, if you didn't have Kelsey, you got Ertz. And you do just as good in fantasy when he was with the Eagles.
Yes, sir.
Not so much now. It needs to be a return to grace for him. So I'm rooting for that pick. I'm not sure it's going to happen, Tay. It may fall up short, but I'm rooting for that one. That's a good pick. Who you got next?
Man, I got for wide receiver, I got Juju Smith-Schuster, man.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Stealer, man. I feel like Pat Mahomes gonna get this man involved, man. And I don't know, man. With all the weapons that Mahomes have, of course, Kelsey being the primary target, and they're gonna focus a lot on him. And then you got the Blazer on the other side, and
Hardman.
Yeah, Hardman.
And they have a few weapons.
Few weapons,
but
right?
Juju is in line to get a more of a target share, and I think you said it because of Kelsey. When you're looking at that offense, that's a guy he's the star player to where if I'm a defense, I'm gonna shut down Kelsey and make everybody else beat me. You know what I'm saying? Make everybody else win over the top or underneath. And so because of that, Juju stands in line to increase his target share. I agree with that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And last but not least, man, for defense, man. I picked a unit. And surprisingly, that unit is the New York Jets.
Oh, my goodness. Why would you do that to yourself? Why the Jets?
The Jets, I have the
Jets playing. Oh, my goodness.
The Jets
they must not be playing nobody, man. I know they played the Bengals.
Playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, your AFC North hated rival. I believe they get Mitchell Trubisky rattled.
You saw how bad they played, how bad Mitch played.
And that Jets defense is aggressive. That defense coordinator is aggressive over there. He's going to send those guys. I believe it's going to force Mike Tomlin. If Trubisky has a bad game this week, and I know they have a bye a few weeks down the line, but the pressure is going to start. I mean, he's never been it or folded in any pressure or circumstance, but that chant is going to start for that rookie playing in Pittsburgh, and I believe he's from Pittsburgh as well. Pritt, right?
Yeah.
So,
you right.
I don't know,
that chant. You know what? I agree with you on that. I disagree with the Jets, but there's a sort of a mix happening. And Tomlin, he's never had a losing season. However, this would be an opportunity that if he doesn't, because this would be a get back on track game for the Steelers.
It
Now
would
they
be.
probably feel like they can beat the Jets, and I feel like they can if Mitch plays like he did the first half of the Browns game. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they have the linemen, and I don't think Mitch is that good of a quarterback, versus a Jets team that can come in, that can go in there and shock them. And I don't agree with your pick though. I think it may be just a win. I think the Jets may just flat out win.
Okay.
However, if I start seeing them get sacks and get turnovers, then I'm gonna look like this sports guy character. This Octavia, I'm gonna have to take I'm gonna have to take Tay to Vegas with me if you
Oh
picking the
man.
Jets and then they show up big time. So I'm gonna look at that definitely so for more so for to see how the Pittsburgh Steelers gonna play. So I like your picks, man. I'm looking at Baker tough. I'm going, hey man.
I know you are,
I'm
Baker. Yeah, that Baker one was tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that. The Juju, and I think you have it right on the money with Kareem and Ertz. The other
Mm-hmm.
ones, like I said, you get them other ones right. We going to Vegas for sure. So I love them.
Sounds.
I appreciate them picks, baby. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. So listen, man, it's always a pleasure stepping on here with you, brother. And I know
Always.
we're gonna recap week 4. We're gonna jump to the fantasy picks as you just mentioned, man. And I want to ask, a couple questions, personal questions maybe, or of some things that some people may not know about you. And we're gonna let it out, man. But once again, man, it's a pleasure always having you on.
Always.
And it is y'all, Sports God TV,
Yes,
Josh Cribs,
sir.
where we talk sports like religion. And I'm out. Until the next time.